Hi everybody, it is Dan and you are here for our premium member video training exclusively for our members, and we thank you for being a member. It is the weekend of November 7th. That means the election is finally over, and no matter who you ended up voting for, well, 50% of you are probably happy and the other roughly 50% are unhappy and ready to leave the country. Whichever side you voted for, you probably voted for the guy that you related to the best, that felt was connected to you, your beliefs, and what you wanted to see in terms of the country for the next 4 years. Well, when we get down to our power questions that we've been going through, this is the third week of our series, when it comes to developing those great power questions, asking questions that relate to your prospect are absolutely key. They're the finishing touch to putting together these pieces of great power questions. So we're going to finish off the series talking a lot about how your questions relate to your prospects. First one, is your question relating to their situation? Coach, we talked a little bit about this last week, where are you recruiting the kid that lives in the inner city apartment the same that you are the kid that is in the suburbs in the 5-bedroom house? If you are, you're not relating to their situation. Let me take it at the next level. Is your question directly relating to their situation? Are you coming up with unique questions? You want to develop questions that relate to their situation, unique to them, to show two things. First of all, that you understand them and that you're approaching them uniquely. Second of all, you want to connect with them and ask this question in a way where they're able to draw on their past experience and sort of touch themselves emotionally with that question so that it means something to them. You're going to get a better answer if you do that, and you're going to get a more honest answer if you do that. Second thing, does your question relate to their objectives? All of these kids have goals, coaches. Are you asking your questions that identifies and complements that goal that they have, that objective? What do I mean by an objective? Well, it could be for some kids that they're going to college and interested in your school because they want to be a doctor. Well, are you asking a question that frames that thought of going to your school with that goal in mind of them becoming the doctor? Are you proving that your school is the best for that? Maybe it's athletics. Maybe that athlete that you're recruiting is a legitimate professional athlete candidate. Well, are you couching your questions and relating to that objective and asking them a question in a way that's going to demonstrate that you can get them to that next level, that athletically you're going to get them to the place where they want to be? Make sure that your questions deal with and answer their objectives, their goals for considering your school. Second thing, is your question, coach, relating to their experience? We talked a little bit about this last week, and here's exactly what I mean by that. Their experience so far in their life really is their world. It's their frame of reference for making any kind of a decision. So is your question relating to them and their expectations for what they want later in life? Their expectations of what college is going to be like. They'll have in their mind a preconceived notion of what college should look like and feel like and sound like and look like. With your question, you have to find ways to relate to that expectation of what a college is. You might have to, and this is a great way to overcome an objection to this as well. Again, let's say you're at a small school, you're at a Division III school, and their expectation, their vision of college is the big campus, 20,000 students, the big football games on Saturday. And you don't have that. Well, that's the expectation that you have to fight against. So you need to frame your questions in a way that would make your college fit in better with the expectations that maybe they haven't thought about yet. Great teacher-to-student ratio, more personalized attention. You have to frame your questions to get them thinking about your school in the way that they would expect a college to be like. Very important that you meet their expectations and you relate to their expectations when you're developing those power questions to ask those athletes. Next on the list, does your question create a positive atmosphere? And this is real simple, Coach. If there's not a positive atmosphere where they feel that they can look at you and connect with you and have a conversation and work through objections, then you're not going to sign that athlete. I've never heard of a negative atmosphere, negative situation turning around and having that athlete sign with that program or that coach. So in the questions that you develop, are you creating a positive atmosphere? Are you creating the back and forth that's going to need to happen later on in the process when they have objections? And when they have questions, they're going to want to come to you and talk about issues, situations, and things that they'll need to get past in order for them to commit to your school. If you're creating a positive atmosphere in the way that you ask the questions and encouraging feedback and a back and forth conversation, then you're going to relate to them well, they're going to relate to you well, and it's going to end well for you with that athlete in terms of them committing to your school. You know, with the election, you voted, you had two choices. And like I said at the beginning, you related to one more than you related to the other, and that's probably who you ended up voting for. Both of these guys had the job of relating to the public in such a way that they got the most votes. Coach, it's the same thing with you. You have to relate to your athletes in such a way that they're going to choose you over the other guy. And just like the election, it's going to be close. So every little thing matters. And that's why we've spent the last 3 weeks teaching you how to develop great power questions. Next week, we're going to move a little bit beyond the great power questions. We're going to get down to the one big question that you've got to make sure you ask. We'll tell you about what that is next week. For now, I'm Dan Tudor saying thank you for being a premium member. We'll be back next week with more exclusive video training just for you.